Today, I'll be interviewing Ash. But before I can start with that, let's first understand why we're interviewing him in the first place. Last episode, we started our journey in 2013 with Yimmy Yu. We have now travelled a couple of years into the future, namely 2016. Why? Well, it's simple. There just weren't any noteworthy people uploading. Better yet, no one really got back to me, and as such I couldn't really interview them. However, I was able to get Ash to agree to be interviewed, and as such, we will now go through that interview to maybe understand how he came into making cinematics in the first place.
Well, I'm mainly known for militaries, video games, but I hang around all sorts of places, flight sims, basically I'm known as the granddad of War Thunder.
The granddad.
Yeah, and it mainly comes down to the boomy voice. But the other thing, I don't really know. I just made videos to appease me, so I don't know where that come from. But I've been everywhere, all over the place. World of Tanks, War Thunder. I've done all the military sim games. It's all over the place.
It's all over. I know.
Yeah.
So we can expect a random, how's it called? Combat Assault Squad Ash video.
Yeah, all sorts of things. All sorts of things. But yeah, mainly known for War Thunder, but I do other games on the side. So.
Yeah. Number 2 is quite, for you, a bit more difficult, because in the beginning you didn't even remember. But yeah, when did you start making cinematics?
I guess I've always had an interest in making them, or at least the process of making cinematics. The thing is, War Thunder's content at the time, back in, 2015, there wasn't a lot of cinematic-y stuff out there. There was bits and pieces, so, but I'll give my hand at doing this. What's the worst that can happen? I've seen it happen in other game titles where people and other creators cover their game in a cinematic form, or make a movie or some sort of thing. And I was like, okay, maybe I could do something like that. So, got my hand at doing that kind of thing and tried editing away, and it was just it was a bit of a mess. It's really hard to do as well, but it can be easier. Yeah, I think it was down to the tools that Gaijin gave you. Don't get me wrong, not every game had replay system like Gaijin did, but no. Cinematics in War Thunder was particularly tricky. There's so many bugs, some features, so many just different things, and I think I started making them because there was another content creator making them, so I gave my hand at that. I can't remember his name, so.
Yeah, no, I found a bunch of smaller content creators from 2013, something like that. I talked with someone who hasn't uploaded, I think, in a year, something around that. And he started his content creation in 2013 on a fucking internet cafe computer.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, that was a very interesting talk. But yeah, why did you start making them? But more importantly, what is the reasoning behind you doing it? Is it just because you like video games and more in general the military, or is it because you thought, well, this is gonna look epic?
I actually didn't, not because it was a military thing, it was mainly just a creative process. If there was a song or a piece of music or some sort of sound effect I liked, or a piece of video or something like that I'd seen and I wanted to replicate in a video format, that's what I wanted to go and try and do. I wanted to try and make it as realistic as possible with limitations. And the thing is, with my videos, I always leave editing mistakes. Every single video has an editing mistake in it somewhere. I always get annoyed that there is just a slight mistake in some areas, but, it particularly goes. So, for me, the cinematics, regardless of other videos, is more just a creative process rather than an outlet for making things. It's just like, oh, I want to make this look cool, and if it doesn't look cool, oh well, I'll still upload it anyway.
Yeah, so basically, at the end, you just fucking throw it at the wall and see if it sticks or not.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. What have you learned from your experience of making these cinematics? You don't make them a lot, but what have you learned from doing it?
Everything takes time. A lot of time. Making cinematics or just movies or whatever, is incredibly time consuming. You've got to get the shots, you've got to think about the scene, you've then got to go either into a replay or a system and then actually record that, and then you've got to edit that, and then sometimes it looks different from how you envisioned it. You can't get every single variable right, and you have to sort of do things over and over again. It does take a lot of time, even for something that is only, a short little tiny video.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by how much time you can spend on something that is only 2 minutes long and still come out with 70 plus hours working on something. It is ridiculous. Then you've got sound effects and music.
Yeah,
and, visual. It's just a nuts.
Yeah, it's a living hell, I would say.
It's probably the reason why I don't do them as much.
Yeah, I mean,
they are incredibly time intensive. As for what I've learned from them, I guess I've learned a little bit of productivity, a little bit of product management. You definitely learn some skills around editing that you might not use in other types of videos, because you just slap it together and upload it. That's basically how I work.
Yeah.
But these are a little more, you've actually got to follow a time scale or a period, or you've got to make sure that things flow if you've got subtitles or no subtitles, or you've got voice actors and whatever. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's not that great, but it's fun. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, in your opinion, do you think that it's worth making these videos, or is it more just do it if you like it, otherwise don't even get into it, don't touch it?
I would always recommend, if you're looking at doing it, give it a go. There's nothing worse than trying it a first time, re-watching it a few months later, and then going, I could have done X, Y, Z better. Because the application process in learning and evolving as you learn different things is more important to the whole scheme of things than just, I can't make this because it won't look as good as, something from Hollywood. You're never going to be at that level yet, unless you've got an eye for it, or you're doing something in that field already, or something like that. It's really a trial and error sort of thing. Many people just started off doing these things as a bit of fun in the background, and they've become massively popular. So no, I'd always, I don't know. It's a hard line to walk, because you're going to look back at the stuff you don't like, and I do all the time. And just cringe. So,
just like, oh no, I don't want to watch this again.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
From the cinematics that you have made so far, which one do you like the most? What's your absolute favorite cinematic from your own creation?
So I've probably made about 10 of them over the 9 or so, 10, 12, 15 of them probably over the past 11-ish years. Mm-hmm. There's 900 and something videos on my channel, so it's hard to remember what goes on. Again, the knock-on effect of the one I sent you just before is probably my favorite in recent memory, because I made a complete mockery out of Top Gun and turned it into an Aussie sort of Kiwi adventure. That was fun. And I tried to replicate the shots in Top Gun as best as possible, with some of the scenes and some of that. It was another nightmare, but it was good fun. I look back on it laughing at that, so that's probably my favourite in recent times. One that's really sentimental to me, though, is the first and the last, and that one's a little one that nobody knows about. Took inspiration from another video by another content creator, and just decided to run with it, because in the video I feature several actual products and things that I've got in the real world, and I just fly 262 around, so that was fun.
You fly 262 around, that's it.
Yeah, that's basically the whole video.
Yeah.
Just happened to be, the subject matter of a video. I just went out and made it. Did it one weekend, and that was that. I have no idea why I made it. I can't tell you that.
No, you don't even remember that.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I just decided to make it. I think I was feeling a bit emotional. I was like, okay, when you crack into your emotions and actually make something worthwhile rather than not, and that's what I got a result of.
Yeah, well, I'll check it out.
Cool.
Is that a cinematic from another content creator that you absolutely love? Like, best cinematic in your opinion?
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for this question. There's too many.
There's only 10.
There is a lot of people out there that do it, and they might not get viewership. So it's hard for me to really say. The guy that got hired by Galjan, Pandramoto, was my favourite creator.
He is. It's an absolute mad lad.
Correct. So I've starred in some of his background footage and things in terms of like aircraft where he's wanted me to pull up and fly in and do all that kind of stuff. But I have no idea how his editing process works. But I've always admired his work. There isn't a particular favourite of mine that sticks out, but all of his work is A+. It's the same with another dude called Avarik who works CDK Magic and does his own little cinematics. They're both employed by Galjan, so it's a fascinating. Yeah. So no, Pandramoto is definitely my favourite.
Okay, I think you'd love to hear that. Are there any tips you would say to people that consider going into cinematics from like camera's perspective to originality to how you start with it, just something like that?
Have a goal. Don't make things on a whim like I do. I've never had a goal for any of my content. It's just been upload what I would like to watch. Mm-hmm. So that means you have a varied set content that nobody knows what's going to go up when it goes up, and if it does or if it doesn't. If you're going to do cinematics, keep in mind that they do take a lot of time. It's time. It's learning how to edit. It's learning how to edit Photoshop. It's learning how to do, After Effects. It's learning how to do animations, or it's learning how to do basic character design or modeling or sound effects, or just there's a huge amount of creativity on the board when you start looking. It's not just a narrow scope of, record a military aircraft flying around. Because when you go to that extreme, it's a wide, broad sort of avenue of, oh my goodness, what the hell's happening here, basically.
Yeah. I
was doing a series on a Spitfire and a bunch of other Australian vehicles in which I had to edit and do a bunch of, massive amount of editing. And let me tell you, I hated the process, but it taught me about timelines and management and media management that no other has taught me. So you can learn all sorts of skills from IT to, design and music and production. It's fascinating. It's not just a limitation, so give it a go.
All right. Now you haven't made a lot of cinematics. You've made 15, something like that. But
around that.
Yeah. How long does it take you to make one? Is it on average? Does it take you a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, or is it I'm gonna use 3 days of my time and it's done?
Usually the latter, 3 days of my time. An idea will come, and sometimes I'll work on it for a week, sometimes it will take, it really depends. It's all dependent on real life factors too, work conditions and health and what else you've got on video production. So no, there's no set time schedule for them. If I'm efficient with it, I can bang it out in a day. Most times that's not the case. Usually it'll take 2 to 3 days.
You can't put 70 hours of work in one day, can you?
No, exactly right. But if you are hyper-focused, you can do that. And I've done that before.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't recommend it.
No, I cannot recommend it either. I did it as well for one of my videos, and it looks good, but no, I don't want to do it again. Yeah, then we're almost at the last question, because I have a couple of questions for you that I have not written down. It's just because these are general questions for the documentary. It's quite easy. Is there anything else that you would like people to know about you? Like a Twitter, maybe you have a Discord server, maybe you have, an OnlyFans account that we don't know about.
Ooh. Sadly, no OnlyFans. Although I debated starting one up just to meme on the factor, but yeah, never mind. Yeah, no, I generally just upload things, you know, and that's all. Former firefighter, former pilot, you know, I just like things. I like planes. That's basically me.
You like planes, and that's
all
we need to know.
That's all you need to know. Correct. Oh, I'm not going to promote anything because I can't be bothered. So.
Oh, I mean, you can. This is the moment.
You know.
You know. Yeah, then I have one question which I do have to ask because YouTube. Can I use your cinematics as background footage?
Yeah.
Obviously, I need to mute this end because, you know.
Yeah.
But alright, great. No, I have a couple of questions for you specifically because.
For me, specifically me.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you don't make cinematics as your basic content, so it's kind of ways off from what you usually do, but you still make you make them occasionally.
I still make intros and things for videos, and that takes cinematic stuff. Like sometimes I'll do dev server content on War Thunder, and there'll be I'll put music up and have a little bit of a cinematic thing. Maybe it's a title screen or something. But yeah, I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch your normal videos, you wouldn't say this guy is gonna make a Top Gun cinematic. Yet you do. So.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's like in reverse. No, it's like I'm gonna do that.
I don't know. I just make things. It was an idea. It came to me. You need to see. There's another one I've got. It's a ripoff of Monty Python. Be a second. Again, it's all coming back to me. These are things that I did this 6 years ago, so this will be in your. Here you go. I'm just going to be dumping a load of things in your.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. My DMs are being cluttered by a bunch of content creators. So at least I feel important now.
Lovely.
Yes. But now Often Not to Be Seen Part 1. Where's Part 2, mister?
We don't talk about that.
Lost in translation.
Lost in translation.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Here's another one. Here's an early one.
No, I've seen that one though. Yeah, well, like I said, I did my research. And because YouTube kind of... Yeah. Because YouTube kind of fucked up with... you can't search by oldest anyway. You can only search, like, by newest, popular, and upload date, which...
Right.
But that only works when you're in the channel itself. So you can't just go on YouTube search bar, enable search from oldest, and find something that you want to, watch. Like if you type in War Thunder cinematics, you can't just turn on, I want to find the oldest video first.
Yep.
That's not going to happen. So I tried to find a lot of channels and look at that way, and obviously I miss a lot of people by doing this. I talked to Pandromedo, and he brought me to a content creator that was his inspiration, which is the guy that I was talking about from the internet cafe.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, and it comes down to a lot of people that have made cinematics in the past have just stopped in general with YouTube, and then you can't talk to them.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because it's harder to pump out content when you're stuck to just cinematics. There's a lot of time between videos. You might be editing, you might be doing whatever.
Yeah.
Huge amount of time. Again, it's just down to time commitments, really. You won't get that reward like some of the regular channels who are uploading regular content. You're not going to get that return.
I mean, you can look at Dark Productions, who started his cinematics in like last year, and in a year his almost 90,000, I think 80,000 something subscribers. But he does shorts as well, which at that point, is it really cinematics that get you the subscribers, or is it just because you make a bunch of shorts per day, which is not really...
Well, everyone makes everything. YouTube allows you to do shorts, live streams, whatever. I think that's not really a question for me, because I don't really know.
Oh, we don't see an Ash short.
No, not a cinematic. The one I just sent you is another example of an intro video where I have a cinematic in the intro, or a cinematic sort of thing, and then it goes to regular gameplay.
No, I've seen a lot of channels that do that.
That's fairly common.
It's fairly common, especially in War Fun. It's fairly common to have a bit of a cinematic intro, and then, you know what? Let's jump into the gameplay and see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Oddballs does it as well.
He does, yes.
Yeah. There's a couple of...
It's a good way to break up the continuity of UI and game design. So
yeah, it definitely is. Especially because, well, it's War Fun and your eyes hurt after starting.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you all for watching today's episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It's fine by me, boys. And just make sure that you watch the next one. If you haven't already, check out the first episode, which is linked right now on top of me. I don't know. Subscribe, watch that video, watch the entire documentary, and I'll see you in the next one.